We have seen many stars emerge through the social media era of basketball. With mixtapes and Instagram clips gaining millions of views throughout the past decade, we have learned about young stars early into their careers. Today, we're going to talk about one of the biggest young basketball phenoms of all time. Gaining millions of views in his youth, Julian Newman became a massive internet sensation when he was only in the 5th grade. Let's see what the child prodigy is up to today and if he actually got to live out his dreams of playing basketball at a higher level. The Julian Newman story starts when he was born in September of 2001, and he would be playing in Florida to start his basketball career, and this would really start in 2012 when he would transfer to Downey Christian School, which is a small private school in Orlando, Florida. Now, as a 5th grader, he would start off playing on the middle school team, but then he would drop 91 points in a game, and he would be promoted to the high school's varsity team. At only 4 feet tall, 5 inches, and weighing 70 pounds, he would go out there as a 5th grader and play against some of the top players in high school basketball and dominate. Through his first 3 starts, he was averaging 12.4 points, 11 assists, and 4.3 steals a game at 4'5", and he was a 5th grader playing against high schoolers, some of them 17, 18 years old. This was insane, and the world thought so too, as well. He led Downey Christian to a 21-6 record while leading the state of Florida as a whole in assists. Now, his story would become massive when he was in the 6th grade. He would average 17 points per game while still playing high school basketball, and he was featured in an article on high school sports website Max Preps, and they called him one of the biggest child prodigies in basketball, and this is where his story would blow up and change his life forever. Now, this Max Preps video would be the one that really set him apart from everyone else. This video would get over 3.5 million views with his mixtape going absolutely viral, and this would change his life. He would go on to be featured on Sports Illustrated, the New York Times. He made appearances on the Ellen DeGeneres Show, Good Morning America, and Steve Harvey, just for some examples. There were plenty of other shows during this time period as well, as he was one of the biggest names in basketball because no one had ever seen something like this. We had never seen a child going out there and playing high school basketball at such an amazing level. This kid, yes, he led the state of Florida in assists as a 5th grader, but he was also putting up 17 points per game when he got to 6th grade, getting better. And he was one of the best players in Florida at the time, and he wasn't even close to becoming the actual age of the players that he was playing against. He was just so good at a young age, and he was able to put the ball in the hoop and also get the assists as well, as he was able to become an offensive weapon at only 4'5" tall, which is crazy to think about. Now, continuing his middle school, in quotes, career, when he was still the age of a middle schooler, he would go out and he would continue to get better. In 2013, he would average 13.6 points and 10.5 assists per game. The next year, he would go out and, as a 7th grader, become the youngest player to record 1,000 career varsity points. He would finish that season averaging 19.8 points, 10.2 assists, and 3.2 steals per game. He also would go out and get massive videos on the internet as well, some getting over 10 million views. And this is when he would finally get to the point where he would officially be in high school. And by the time he was a sophomore in high school, he had recorded 3,873 total points, surpassing the Florida Prep record set in 1998 by Teddy Dupay. And in the 2018-2019 season, he averaged 34.7 points, 7 assists, 5 rebounds, and 4 steals per game. But after this, he would actually end up transferring to Prodigy Prep, which was a new school in Orlando, which was created by his father. And this might be where the start of his downfall came. Now, this came during the time period of high school basketball that there was so much going on off the court. This came after his massive game against LaMelo Ball the year before, where they would go up against Spire Academy, where LaMelo Ball would be, and this would be a massively televised game, Big Baller versus Prodigy. But after this, he decided with all this fame, and everything that had been going on for him recently in high school basketball, he would take his final year at Prodigy Prep and play for his dad's new school. But it seemed like this school really didn't have much going on. It's very hard to find information about it now, and it just seems like one of those things that was made during this time period, other places as well, like Donda Academy, that we just really don't know what was going on during this time and what the players were doing, whether they were really getting an education or not, because there's very, very little information that we can find out about this. But he would end up playing his final year of high school eligibility there, and after that, it was really a time period where we had no idea what was going on for Julian Newman. Yes, he would be doing his YouTube show, which had become a little bit famous. I mean, he was getting some good views on there as well. His sister had also became a basketball prodigy in her own right, being related to Julian as well, and having some clips of hers going very viral on the internet. But we did have a time where Julian Newman's hype really went down because he wasn't able to go and play at a college basketball level, whether this was because his skill wasn't that good, where you could argue that, though he did have the stats. The main reason is because at the end of the day, he was 5'7" and 140 pounds, which is very hard to make it to the next level of basketball at. And yes, he was dominating in high school basketball, but the Division I level of basketball is so much harder than high school, and that's why it's almost impossible for players in high school basketball, the average high school basketball player, to make the NBA, because there's so many guys vying for those opportunities, and Newman did not get one until this year in 2024, where he is now playing. Now, like I said, Julian Newman has made his collegiate basketball debut this year at 23 years old, and he is now playing at Bethesda University. Bethesda University, if you don't know, is a member of the NCCAA, which is the National Christian Collegiate Athletic Association, and they are a Division I school within the NCCAA. And this school itself, Julian Newman is playing at, and so far he hasn't really done too much. The season did just start, but it is interesting to look to see him go kind of back to his roots, as in high school, obviously he would transfer to Downey Christian School, and now he's at a Christian university as well. So we are going to have to see what is going to happen from this. This division that they're playing in is pretty competitive within itself, within the NCCAA, but it isn't a true Division I school when we're talking about schools like Duke University or UCLA or any other real university like that. They're in their own lane, essentially. So we'll have to see how Newman's career ends up playing out, but I wouldn't have massive hopes for him, as he's already 23 years old to this point, and he's still 5'7" and 140 pounds. But like I said, don't count anyone out yet. But overall, Newman's career, one of the best high school basketball players that we've seen, as he was playing from essentially 5th grade up until his senior year of high school, and got to play for almost what felt like a decade at that point. And he did set a bunch of records within high school basketball, obviously playing for that long as well, with points and assists and three-pointers. Pretty much everything under the sun, he's in some point of record books across the country, in the state of Florida as well. He's somewhere on most high school basketball all-time list. And he may not make it to the NBA, but he's still gone out and was a pretty successful player and has built his own brand. I'm sure he's got a lot of money from it. He may not be as famous as he was in the past, and he may not be that child prodigy that we know anymore, but he's still playing basketball right now. We'll see what his next move is after this season, depending on how long he stays there or not. But with NIL now, he can go on and play college basketball. Maybe he'll go overseas. We'll have to wait and see. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if there's someone you want to see in the next one, and I'll see you in the next video.